Hey everyone, welcome back. So, we have a new game that was sent in, and so I'm going to take a look at it as usual and tell you what I think about it. Alright, so this one we're looking at from the black pieces standpoint, so let's go ahead and let's see here. So, pawn e4, e6, knight f3, and knight f6. So you're going to play e6 on your first move as the black pieces against e4. I think you should just about always go with the pawn to d5. You know, that's kind of the idea of e6 is you want to be able to push d5, so why not just go ahead and do it? You know, that's the idea of, the French defense and pawn to e6, so that's what I stick with. Knight to f6 is played in the game, runs into some problems after e5 because this knight's getting chased around. Meanwhile, the white pieces are building up, some space in the center. And, okay, they play c3 in the game. I think that c4 gains a little bit of space. And kind of says, the white pieces are just going to have a big center and are going to play to uphold that. And it's kind of like they're getting in those moves with tempo because the knight would be getting chased around. c3 I don't think pushes as much for an advantage. I mean, it does help to kind of hold the center around, though. Okay, let's take a little bit of a look further ahead. Okay, the bishop takes, and now we have a tripled pawn for the moment, which I just always like to announce whenever there's triple pawns. I don't know if the bishop should have taken the knight, though, because, I think that, okay, although the bishop and the knight are worth the same value, let's go back for a second to this position. I don't know that we want to take the knight with the bishop. We might want to keep our light squared bishop in the game. And, maybe white could say, just maybe instead of taking, maybe just take here and then castle next move, maybe something like that. Let's see. Let's continue though. Okay, bishop takes d5, takes. Okay, takes. Bishop b4 check. Knight c3. Queen a5. Okay, so we're doubling up on this knight. Queen d2. I don't like this queen d2 because I feel like we're just trading one problem for another. I think if bishop d2 to break the pin, I like that move better. Because really, we're just trading one pin for another with queen d2. And I mean, how are we getting out the dark squared bishop now if the queen is in the way? Alright, but let's continue. Okay, d6. Castling. Alright, taking on e5. Taking with the knight. Knight takes. And, okay, so we have... Okay, we can do rook e1 in the game. You can also take immediately, but rook e1, castling, and takes. So one thing you could try, if you're the white pieces, you could try taking here with the rook, because the idea is maybe this rook is just in the center of the board now. And, maybe you can put some pressure on the d5 pawn. If the rook takes, then you are eyeing that pawn. Alright, let's continue with the game. Taking bishop e6. So now we got the last minor piece out. The rooks are connected. Queen d4. We see this weird little repetition of moves here. Queen d3. Rook fd8. One thing we could try here, and this is something I was kind of looking at. I was looking into this variation with something like bishop takes. And, okay, maybe he takes pawn, but if he takes with the queen, either way we kind of wind up with the same type of idea, regardless of whether or not the queen takes first or the pawn takes. The idea is that this pawn here on c3 could potentially be a weakness. Can't advance very easily, and you could say, well, maybe I can just get my rooks and double them on the c file and maybe put some pressure on this guy, and maybe that's some type of game plan. Of course, with opposite color bishops in an endgame, it's might be difficult to win, but still, it would be definitely much easier for the black pieces to play. But okay, in the actual game, and you still have the pressure on the pawn regardless of which way taking back in that variation. Like say in that variation, bishop takes, and the pawn takes, you can still kind of have the same idea of just putting pressure on that pawn, and it's still irritating either way. All right, let's get back to the actual game. Okay, a3. Pawn d4, And here we see a mistake with taking, because now just the queen takes a clear advantage. One thing that could have been tried is this variation I was working out with, so bishop to g5, and then let's see here, so something like, let's see here, so bishop takes, taking, taking, and then all of these exchanges get played. And let's see. And after, let's see, where was it? Okay, rook takes, A takes. There's a lot of exchanges, so let me go through all of these. Rook takes, pawn takes, pawn c2. Okay, and here is after all of these exchanges, this is one possible variation where it's actually even. Okay, despite the material deficit, there is this very advanced pawn, and so it's about even. Back to the actual game, though, with taking here, that's just a clear advantage. And okay, so trying to exchange queens, because you're up the material. And now this pawn just becomes a monster, and it runs down the board, and let's see how we finish it off. And rook d1, and there's a forced checkmate. So rook takes and queen takes could be played, although after rook to d1 check, the black piece is resigned. So, interesting game. So hopefully some of my suggestions will help you out. It looks like in the opening, it got to be more favorable for the opponent, but you were able to come back and win. So yeah, good play, and yeah, everyone, send me your games, and keep watching. See you later.